Morning, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Urshan, and this week on a special edition of the Horror Corner, we take a look back at the immortal classic, the amazing, one of the greatest horror films of all times, which many people consider to be the scariest horror film of all time, and that is The Exorcist, written by William Peter Blatty, directed by William Friedkin, and starring Ellen Burstyn, Max von Sydow, and the great Linda Blair, who has an amazing Oscar-worthy performance in the film, and one I consider to be one of the greatest performances by a child actor in history. She went on to become a B-movie icon, no less, but this is an A-list performance, make no mistake about it, and everyone in the cast is amazing in this film. It's one of the examples where a big Hollywood budget and a big production actually works when they actually cared about it and they knew exactly what they wanted to do and they executed it perfectly. They cared about this film and they wanted to make a statement and make a powerful horror film, and that's exactly what they did. And so what happens in the film is we meet this priest by the name of Father Merrin, played by Max von Sydow. He also dabbles in archaeology a little bit. When we first meet him, he's off in Iraq, out in the desert. And they do some digging, and in this little cave, they find this little statue, dusts it off, and it's a demon by the name of Pazuzu. And what happens is the spirit is released, and Father Merrin knows it. So what happens is the demon inhabits this young girl by the name of Regan, played by Linda Blair, all the way off in like New York City, I believe. I can't remember where they are in the film, but what happens is in the middle of the night, the demon comes through the window and inhabits the young girl. She's about 13, I believe, and so she starts acting very strangely, lashing out and shouting strings of obscenities and cursing and horrible language, and the mother is just completely confused because she's such a normal girl, very healthy, kind, and friendly, and pretty, and now she's just acting out, lashing out, and doing things that you just never would normally do. So they decide to take young Regan to the hospital and run all kinds of tests on her. And that's what I feel some of these scariest scenes in the movie, where they run all kinds of MRIs and EKGs and CAT scans and brain X-rays and these archaic machines. It's like brutal when you watch it, like the hell that they put her through, and poking her in the arm and blood splatting everywhere. It's pretty nasty. Just like the hell that they put this young girl through who's powerless, you know. And when they come up with the X-rays, the X-rays come up with nothing. She's absolutely nothing wrong with her physically. So they decide to go the route of the psychiatrist. So they have a psychiatrist examine her, and she really lets loose a string of obscenities that you wouldn't imagine, and obscene gestures like masturbating with a crucifix and blood splurting everywhere. And so the mother, in complete desperation, once the psychiatrist thing doesn't work, she decides she wants to talk to a priest about possibly performing an exorcism. And the father at first just kind of laughs it off. This hasn't been done in 1,000 years, you know. This thing doesn't happen anymore. And the Catholic Church just kind of casts it off. But the mother is just so desperate. She has nowhere else to turn, nowhere else to go. And Father Karras, played by Jason Miller, who's also great in the film, he's struggling with his own problems with dealing with faith. His mother got very sick, and he had to take her to a nursing home, and fortunately she passed away. So his own problems with faith almost caused him to leave the priesthood. But he sees that this desperate woman needs help, and her daughter needs help, and he really feels like he needs to do something about it. So he pays a visit to Regan, and he needs to try and test that she is what she is what she says she is, that she really is possessed by a demon, or which she says the devil himself. Because when they first meet, it's kind of a cool scene. He's like, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Damien Karras, and I'm the devil. Now please unloosen these straps. She has some great lines, and like the tricks that they do with the voices. Like she's got like 1,000 different voices going on at once. It really sounds so creepy. Like I don't know how they did that, but it's an awesome effect. It's really creepy. It's the way her, the performance of Linda Blair as well. Nobody would believe it unless she had a terrific performance, and she makes it believable. Yeah, and then also the makeup effects in this movie are incredible. Like how as the movie goes on, her face becomes very distorted, and you see these nasty like cuts, and it's just ghastly, like insane. She really looks like there is a monster inside of her, and it needs to be dragged out. And she also has powers of telekinesis, and can move things with her mind. And so some furniture starts moving, and plates start flying, and things getting smashed, and she spins her head completely around, which is another awesome effect in the movie. But one of the things that makes it so believable is the language, that this kind of language would come from a 13-year-old girl. Like, your mother sucks cocks and it's crazy. But what really grabs Father Karras is when she really starts playing with his mind by using his mother against him. She brings out the voice of his mother. She actually uses the voice of his mother to like reel him in, and then he's like, all right, there's something going on here. So he decides, that they're going to perform an exorcism. But where Father Karras doesn't have the experience, they call on Father Marin, who actually did perform an exorcism years ago. So they get together like a tag team and take on the demon and try to drive her away from the young Regan, and by shouting the passages from the Bible for exorcism. And they really get into like, the power of Christ compels you, and they're spitting the holy water at her. And it's so powerful, and you see her body like levitate, and her eyes go completely white, pupils are gone. It's just such an awesome effect. Like she like blows up, and it's freaky, man. And it's really sends an interesting message to like the power of religion, trying drive the demon out. And it really sends a powerful message. So when they feel that it's done, like that you drive her out, or so we think. But when they delve a little deeper, they realize that unfortunately the demon is still there, and she continues to mess with Father Karras' mind, and he's really starting to lose it. So Father Marin says for Karras to leave the room while he continues to perform the exorcism. And unfortunately, by himself, he left himself more vulnerable. And Regan, the demon Pazuzu, takes advantage of that, and he ends up dying. So when Father Karras comes back and sees the man lying cold and dead, He really loses it. And Regan's just sitting there in the corner of the bed laughing. And so then Father Karras takes him by the throat and says, "Take me!" And it's a really awesome scene. And I'm not going to tell you what happens after that. I've given away enough. But one thing's for sure, you absolutely have to grab this movie immediately. The Exorcist. Buy it on Blu-ray, DVD, whatever you need to, but you have to get this movie if you've never seen it. Run and buy it now. The Exorcist. Directed by William Friedkin, starring Linda Blair, Ellen Burstyn, Max von Sydow, and Jason Miller. One of the greatest horror films of all time, folks. And thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Urshan, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared.